time, bro. It is time for the third and final episode of the Randy Similien podcast to go down right now. Let's recap the first two episodes that we've had before we even dive into what we got to do and what we have planned for this episode. The first two episodes were kind of crazy. First episode, we had Leona and Stevie. Episode 2, Nairi and Harlan. And we also had a Q&A that we did in the last episode. This episode is about to be crazy because this episode is about to be probably the only episode of the whole series. This episode is probably about to be the most surprise-filled episode that this whole podcast series has had so far, especially since this is the final episode. So we got to make sure that this is the one episode of the podcast that really counts. Ladies and gentlemen, right now on this segment of the third and final episode of the Randy Similien podcast, we will be discussing a lot of different things. We will be talking about a lot of stuff related to content creation in general. We have a lot of different topics that we're going to get into in just these next few minutes. You're going to see me dive into maybe 10 different topics. So let's get into that. You feel what I'm saying? So, first up, we're gonna scroll through this whole list of options that I got, and boom. And then, okay, we could talk about networking tips. So the first thing that we're going to talk about for anybody out there who might, maybe they want to become a content creator, or maybe they want to do some vlogs, then maybe they want to do some YouTube, maybe they want to live stream, maybe they want to start streaming. I'm about to give y'all some advice on that. So the first thing that you might want to know about is the first tip you might need is some networking tips, okay? Networking tips, how to network with other people to then gain collabs out of those people. That way you can, you feel what I'm saying, get your collabs that you want. Me, I wouldn't really know too much about networking with celebrities or anything for content because obviously I've never done that before. And that's one thing about networking. Sometimes you got to be a little wise about who you bring because the person that you bring on, you want to make sure that it's your most hyped up friends that you bring onto your content. The ones with the most energy, the ones with the most personality, the ones that you know, once you bring them on camera, you know they can carry your stream. You want to bring those people who so let me tell you the process. Let me tell you guys how the process goes whenever I'm looking for collabs for my streams. So when I'm trying to get collabs for my streams, I reach out to a good few friends in a row first to see who will accept the collabs. Ultimately, someone eventually accepts the collab, they accept the request, and then from there, it's craziness from there. And that's just how it all works. You gotta reach out to a few friends, a good few, maybe in one shot, try to message at least 10 in a row, and then you'll have at least one that's gonna be really, really down to do it. So then you just get the collab with them very immediately. I'm about to show y'all one example right now. One example of that is my stream that I did with Nairi, Harlan, and Elijah a few months ago. That's a good example of a collab stream that I did with some friends of mine that did pretty good. That stream happened 3 months ago, and it still sits with 105 views now, 3 months later. This stream happened February 19th, 2025, as y'all can see. But that's the way it works, though. You need to look for those friends who are going to bring energy to your stuff. You need to bring the energy, but they need to bring the energy too. So the way that I get my friends on stream, I make them, I reach out to a good few of them right off the bat. And then normally it's whoever accepts, they accept. And then I have them on stream, and then we thug it out from there. All right? You feel what I'm saying? Now, this one is a very important topic that we're going to talk about real fast before this segment's over. Content creation burnout. You're probably wondering, Mr. Randy Similien, what is content creation burnout? Okay, content creation burnout, anybody can go through that. Anybody who's been working so excessively to where they hit a burnout point to where it's now it's just mad exhaustion, lots of exhaustion and all of that. And that's something you need to try to avoid as a content creator. If you're going to be doing content and stuff like that, you got to avoid burnout. You got to be consistent, but that doesn't mean, but sometimes there's a point where you can be a little like, from trying to be so consistent to where now you might overwork yourself, which is why I think it's important when you do the streaming stuff, you make sure that you are actually having breaks from time to time again. That way you can have the breaks, but then you can also still have a lot of time to grind outside of those breaks. If you grind a little too excessively to where you barely have any personal time outside of your grind, it can lead to burnout. And if you let it get to that burnout point, that little burnout point, if you let it get to that little burnout point, it's not going to be good for you. All right? So you got to find a way to prevent that. And one way to prevent that is to be organized. Like you can keep yourself booked and busy, but don't keep yourself too booked and busy. You feel me? Alrighty. Another thing that we can talk about is content promotion. Strategies for promoting your content. Now, this is the part where I'm going to go through some of my apps. For this. Sometimes you need platforms like Instagram. Okay? Sometimes you need platforms like Instagram. And let me tell you why a platform like Instagram is important. Not only platforms like Instagram, sometimes you need platforms like TikTok, and then sometimes you don't just need platforms like Instagram and TikTok. Then that's when you end up needing platforms like even YouTube Shorts. You feel what I'm saying? Mr. Beast, he does YouTube Shorts. A lot of people do YouTube Shorts, meaning you gotta target. One way to grow your audience is through short form content. You gotta do short form, long form, anything. You gotta do the content and then start clipping. Another good platform that normally ends up being pretty good is, maybe if you can even use, I'm trying hard not to leak everything that's on my phone, but like you could even try using Snapchat, using an app like Snapchat. You feel what I'm saying? And you could use all of these different platforms to promote your content, get your content out there, clip, and clip. You feel me? You gotta do that. If you're not clipping, there's no motion without promotion. I'm gonna let that quote out now. There is no promotion, there's no motion without promotion. Promotion leads to the motion, and then the motion leads to the deals, and the deals lead to the success. The brand deals lead to the success, and the success leads to you being Gucci for life. I don't know what I just said though. Like I just said something to y'all, but I don't even know what I really said for real. You gonna have to read in between the lines to know what I really said though. Alrighty, so that's one strategy for content promotion. So here's how I do my content promotion. So this is where y'all are gonna kind of get a little bit of behind the scenes insight of how I do my content promotion. I do my stream, or maybe I might upload my vlog first. At the time of filming this podcast episode, I got vlogs, I got unreleased vlogs that gotta be released. So for example, let's use that as an example. Let's use a stream as an example. I do a stream, I go live for maybe, let's say for example, 50 minutes to an hour. Okay, let's say the stream is like 45 minutes. When I end my stream, I go straight into I go straight into clipping. As soon as I end my stream, it's straight into going back through the stream, skimming through the best segments of my stream, screen recording those moments, and then we send them out on platforms like Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, and all those platforms. Because then the people who see those clips, which is basically just long form content being translated into short form content clips. Now the people who see those clips by scrolling through TikTok or YouTube Shorts, now they're gonna pull up, and that's how you get those audience. Now that's how you get your shorts audience, your short form content audience, to now transition into being your live streaming audience going forward. And that's just the way it works, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna lie. It was nice having this segment of the podcast with you guys. Stay tuned. We will be having another short segment for the podcast. We will be having another segment for this podcast before we end. And stay tuned for the next segment that we're about to do on this episode of the podcast real quick, because this one is about to have a lot of surprises. See y'all, everybody. Bro, I swear, bro, if this person doesn't answer, bro, I'm not gonna tell y'all who it is that I'm calling until they answer. Answer the phone. Answer the phone. Answer the phone. Bro, it's cooked activities, brother. My brothers and sisters, it's cooked activities. Once you get to that 5th ring, you hit that red button and you hang up. Once you get to that 5th ring and the person still don't answer, you gotta click that hang up button. You gotta say goodbye. Say your goodbyes. Say your goodbyes. Okay? I got something that I really want to talk to you guys about. This segment of the podcast is about to be filled with so many surprises now. Because what we're about to talk about in this segment, it counts as the start of promotion for a very upcoming project that I got on the way. It is something that I teased to you guys since April. I would like to announce my new movie that's on the way called Steel Shadow. It is a superhero action adventure comedy movie. Let's go. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. You heard that, ladies and gentlemen. We have a movie first. I am going to explain what the movie is about. The movie's plot is about to finally be revealed here. Finally. The movie is about a kid. Played by me. I play as the main character in this, and it will air it'll be airing on this YouTube channel soon. The movie focuses on a kid. He just graduates out of high school and stuff like that. You feel me? At first, he doesn't really know what to do with his life. Alrighty? Then the robot ends up exploding on them because his dad liked to work with robots and stuff. Next thing you know, he ends up gaining powers. We're not going to go too much into detail what the powers are going to be. But it's not anything too major, though. The thing is, it's not anything too major. But, which will make some people underestimate him throughout the movie. But y'all will see when y'all see it. The rest of the details will be revealed later on. But just know the movie's title is called Steel Shadow. Alrighty, at this time, we are going to be rolling a first look at the movie. Let's roll up a sneak peek from the movie right now, shall we? Okay, caveman from the 14th century. I promise you, you have reached your limit. You have reached your time. There is no reason to hurt anybody in this building. You're done. You're done. Okay, you're done. They're scared. You're done. So there's no reason to be hurting these people. Just show mercy and let these young people go.
Who the hell are you and who are you to talk? I'm not done until I say the job is done.
Okay, we're dealing with the cocky one, I see. Okay, I see how you want to act. You want to act like you're all tough. You want to act all smart with me. But when the cops run up in this building right now, you know your ass getting sent straight to jail, right? And you never know the judge. I hope you get a judge in there that's really rough with you and they give you a good sentence, my boy. Round of applause, round of applause, round of applause. Okay, and that is just the beginning of it. That is not even close to the stuff that happens later in the movie. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. More details are about to be getting revealed about the movie throughout this whole entire month. Up until the movie comes out, y'all will continuously get more and more details about the movie as time goes on. As of right now, you are just left with that little preview, and you are about to see what's going to happen next. I'm not going to lie, it was a lot of fun working on this movie. The movie is currently in its final few days of recording until production is over. Then it will enter the editing process. Until then, y'all will still be getting trailers for the movie. up until we announce that the movie is actually ready for release. And then a date will be announced, and then voila, the movie will be sent out from there. Okay? Let's recap the whole 3-episode podcast series. We had episode 1, okay? It was all a limited series. We had episode 1 where I had Leona as a guest, and Leona had a segment in that episode, and Stevie had a segment in that episode. They were both members from the Project CollabNet 3-day streams that we did. And during that episode, we had talks about how that was to be a part of it. And then episode 2 was where we had a Q&A, and we had Nairi and Harlan on for a little bit. Today's episode was giving content advice. You know, advice that I obviously still have to be taking myself. Today's episode, episode 3, was more advice plus a small, tiny preview at our upcoming movie. This movie was in the works for a pretty long time. This movie's been in production for like a month and a half. And, you know, now I'm so glad that this movie is damn near ready for release. And I can't wait to see what happens. So stay tuned for the upcoming movie, Steel Shadow. Get ready for a hero. Get ready for a crazy hero movie. And it's going to be nothing but action, comedy, and adventure. Alrighty, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast series, limited series. And that is it of the Randy Similien podcast. That is the end. And I will see you guys whenever the next big thing that we do happens. So I'll be seeing you guys in whatever is going to be the next big thing that we do. Alright? Peace out, everybody. I'll see y'all next time.